Welcome to day 5 of our Lent Devotionals. I am Maureen Albert, and I am on staff here at New Life as our event coordinator and a local outreach associate with Pastor Zach. And I am excited to bring you the devotional for today as we are in the season of Lent. Join us tomorrow on Sunday online at newlifetucson.live. We will not be here doing church in the building, but we are asking that you would gather your family around and worship at home. Just a little bit different way, but it will be a way to still gather and corporately worship God and listen to a message. So we invite you to do that tomorrow morning. Yesterday, Zach talked about the fig tree and the parable of the fig tree and just our call to bear fruit during this time in our world, to still engage with God and his people. And so following that passage in the book of Matthew was a passage where the Pharisees, the leaders of the time in Jerusalem, were questioning Jesus a lot. And so then our next passage is on Matthew 21, which is verses 28 through 32. And in this parable, Jesus teaches to us about a man who had 2 sons, but he flips it around and starts asking the leaders questions. So he's being questioned, and now he flips things upside down again, and he questions them. So we're going to read Matthew 21, verses 28 through 32. What do you think? Jesus asks them. A man had 2 sons, and he went to the first and said, Son, go and work in the vineyard today. And he answered, I will not. But afterward he changed his mind and went. And he went to the other son and said the same. And that son answered, he said, I go, sir, but did not go. Which of the 2 did the will of his father? They said, so the leaders said, the first. Jesus said to them, Truly I say to you, the tax collectors and the prostitutes go into the kingdom of God before you. For John came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe him. But the tax collectors and the prostitutes believed him. And even when you saw it, you did not afterward change your minds and believe him. So when I first was given this passage, and I was thinking, a man with 2 sons, it just sounded a lot like the prodigal son. And there are similarities here, but it's not the same thing. So as I studied it, not really knowing this passage too well, I just sensed that it speaks to the need in all of us right now, that God is calling us to rise up with a strong and a confident belief and trust in him. While everything's a little bit crazy or a lot crazy, he's asking us that we would be leaders, that we would be strong and speak up and have faith and just call to obedience. As he does for these sons. The times that we are living in may be the best opportunity that we've had in a really long time to make a big difference, to be able to reach out to people in a way that we never have before. But some of that is in the midst of us living some really hard stuff. And so I think that with the time that we've been given now, as things have really slowed down, it's really important to begin to build our faith and trust to a point where it's never been before. It may be new, and you need to really work on building it, or it may be huge and you can still build and grow more. So I think that this passage asks us to trust God in the midst of all of these challenges that we're having, but as well as trust to just really believe him, not just believe in him, but to believe him, to believe that he's in charge, that he's handling all that's going on, that he's involved, that he's going to provide, that he loves us, that he cares for us, that we don't need to fear. We may have some fear, but we don't need to live in that fear. We don't need to be concerned about, oh, there's no church, or we can't do this anymore. There's a lot of things that we can't do, but there are things that we can do. There's still a lot of things that God calls us to in obedience, to trust and to faith, and to share that with others who are struggling. So as our religious practices or acts may change a little bit, we don't get to gather on Sunday morning in church. That does not mean that we can't still gather together with other people, that we can be creative and do it online as we're trying to do here. There's just lots of different ways. But most importantly, I think as we build our trust and grow in faith and obedience to God would be to spend time with him. Our schedules have been cleared. It would be important to just dive into different practices, to different rhythms of spiritual growth, spending time with him in prayer, going on a walk, gathering your kids around and doing a devotional with them, gathering with your parents, whatever it may be, family, friends, whoever it can be. just trying something new and different. I think that we have that opportunity now where we normally don't. But growing our faith, growing our trust, as this passage asks, to believe in God. The Pharisees missed it, but we can take these opportunities to grow and to believe Him. I think sometimes that can be hard. It's like, how do you do that? I think being grateful is a key sometimes, working and looking at our blessings, and especially right now when it seems a lot has been stripped away, to look at the blessings that you still have around you. Being grateful, being thankful for all that God has done for you, taking the negative thoughts captive and not living in fear, not being concerned what tomorrow looks like, living in this moment. There is a lot to fear. Our world's a little scary right now. And if you're really struggling with that, reach out, ask for help, ask us here at church, talk to friends, whatever it is. Don't stay stuck in that, because we can easily get stuck there. But if we can shift our focus to looking at the blessings and being grateful, and even looking at Easter, and we're still in the season of Easter and Lent and all the miraculous power that comes with that. There's so much to be thankful for in what Jesus did for us on the cross. Even just focusing on that, spending some time in that, reading the word in those things, really focusing on what God has done and what He's done in your life, the faithfulness that He's shown so far, the relationship that we get to have with Him here on earth and in eternity. Nothing can take that away. There is a peace that comes with knowing that and truly believing that. And so I believe that as we keep our focus on God and on trusting Him, then the obedience that He asks us. He called these boys to work. There was some work that needed to be done. And there is work that we need to still do. We need to probably continue in our jobs in maybe a different way. So there's work there, but there is work to be done in service, in still serving our God, and still serving His people. We can still share with people about Jesus. We can share out of the abundance of the things that we may have that they don't. We can run errands. There's all kinds of ways that we can still serve as a church, as a body here, as Christians, within your family. Look around, check in with your neighbors. There's so many different things that we can do to still serve and to still be the church. We know that God's in control. We know that He is here. We know that He desires our obedience. And so I think you just need to keep showing up today. Reach out to someone else and ask what you can do to help them, even if it's just encouragement and a reaching out so we don't feel isolated. As I read some things, it looks like that can be a huge danger, especially for the extroverts out there. So really check in with your people and just still love them and care for them in any way that you can. And maybe push a little. People tend to say, nope, I don't need anything, I'm good. Ask questions, check in, really see what they might need. So that's my challenge for you today. What is He calling you to do today? What way can you obey God? What way can you grow in your faith and trust? Spend time with Him and really listen to Him. And again, we invite you to join us tomorrow on newlifetucson.live. And it'll be posted afterwards, right after. So if you can't do it right at 9 o'clock in the morning, it'll be on there. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I just pray that you have a great day and are able to reach out to someone around you.